That's the name of my band, Blues in Babylon. And we play blues. A lot of people say they play the blues. They're not playing the blues. We are playing straight blues all a night. And I've always had an interest in the blues. I've loved the blues since I was a young kid. And one of my favorite blues players is Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's one of the greatest blues players of all time, in my opinion. And so, I studied a lot about Stevie. I mean, a lot, right? His playing, number one. I used to play a lot of Stevie songs in my bands. And studying Stevie, learning about Stevie, all this stuff, I still see people, I still see people who are confused about, you know, what strings Stevie used. His guitar setup. Even to this day, this is what he died in, what, 90 something. This is 30 years later, and this kid is like, I tried Stevie Ray Vaughan's absolutely crazy guitar setup. Some English kid.
Internet forums about exactly how Stevie set up his guitar, with speculation that he used as heavy as gauge 7.
I got on and I tried to find out about Stevie's guitar setup, and there's speculation he used guitar strings as high as 17 on the high E.
17 strings at some point in his career.
He used 17s. Look, and then the kid, mucks around and is trying to find, Stevie's set of strings, 13s. So he did get this right, by the way. This is what Stevie played for a long time. Not a standard set of 13s. Okay? He played 13, 15, 19, 28, 38, 58. Okay? But the kid's like, I had to go get two sets of strings and put them together to figure out what gauge they were in this. Look, dude, Renee Martinez is Stevie's guitar tech. Okay? Stevie had two main techs, Cesar Diaz and Rene Martinez. And Cesar handled more of the guitar amps and such. He did mess around with the guitars, but he helped Stevie get his sound. Rene Martinez was 100% his guitar tech. Like his guitar tech. And Rene Martinez has tons of videos online of him talking about Stevie. The only reason you're talking about Rene Martinez is because of Stevie Ray Vaughan. So he's more than happy to talk about his time with Stevie, the guitars, what he did to him, how he, changed the neck, whatever he did, he talks about openly. He's not hiding anything. And Renee specifically talks about Stevie's strings. And he says Stevie used to rip his hand up. And that's what this kid says. This kid says, oh, Stevie's hand was, tore up. And this, yeah, it was tore up. Okay. And Rene Martinez had GHS make a specific set for Stevie. And all he did was take the 13 and make it an 11. So if you want to play Stevie's strings, all you have to do is buy GHS nickel rockers. This is the exact set of strings that was made specifically for Stevie Ray Vaughan. This set of strings did not exist until Rene Martinez called up GHS, talked to the people at GHS and said, Stevie, this is what he wants. Can we get some strings like this? And they started making these strings for Stevie, and they put them out right here as nickel rockers. And they call them low tune because he tuned down to E flat. There's no mystery. There's no, you don't have to delve into internet, lore and go through 8 million, people talking about 17s. No, this is the exact set that Stevie used right here. 11 through 58. 11, 15, 19, 28, 38, 58. Notice it's the only difference is the 13 is an 11. And that's what Renee told Stevie. He said it will take, you'll still get that big heavy sound, but it'll take the tension off. It'll stop ripping your fingers up, dude. Because Renee said Stevie used to super glue his fingers and, was trying to compensate for him just ripping up his fingers. And Renee said, look, dude, let's just change this one string here. And that's what he did. He changed the 13 to an 11. So now this is not an improper Stevie set. Stevie did use this gauge. But if you want to get into a set that's possibly something you could possibly play and something that Stevie played a lot, something that GHS made specifically for Stevie Ray Vaughan, it's this set right here. It's already done for you. You don't have to get two sets and put them together. You don't have to do anything. Buy this set of strings and you will be playing Stevie Ray Vaughan strings. Okay? And then the kid talks about the setup of the guitar, right? And he's like, well, Stevie had the highest, Rene Martinez said that, he put him up as high as he possibly could. See him here, he's just tweaking up these things as high as they possibly go. Okay. Rene Martinez did not just crank the strings up as high as they went. And this is a part that really frustrates me about this type of person who's getting on here to do this. It's like, dude, here's a video where he literally sets the guitar up like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Literally sets the guitar up right in front of your face and shows you and tells you for 15 minutes and 36 seconds how to set up the guitar like Stevie. Look, get a pencil and paper ready to write down these specs. He tells you the exact specs. He tells you the exact specs that he set Stevie's guitar up to. There's no mystery. There's no, I just cranked my strings up as high as they went because that's what someone said on the internet. It's like, come on, dude. The information is right here. This is the video. Rene Martinez, Texas Guitar Whiz, Chapter 6, Stevie Ray Vaughan guitar setup. Right here. He literally takes this guitar and step by step sets it up exactly like he set up Stevie's guitar with the exact strings. And he talks about it for 15 minutes and 36 seconds. You don't have to wonder. You don't have to sit and live in lore of how, Stevie had his guitar strings this high. Man. So if you want to play thicker strings, okay, and you want to set your guitar up like Stevie, get your GHS nickel rockers, which he talks about in this video, okay? This is the exact set of strings, and then watch this video, and Renee will set the guitar up and show you how to set it up just like Stevie's was. And this is the guy who set up Stevie's guitar, not some keyboard kid, talking about what he heard somebody say 5 years ago at a guitar show. This is the guy who did it. So if you want to try out Stevie's setup, you can do it pretty accurately in the modern day without having to, go through some kind of internet, the dark regions of the internet to find out, what happened with Stevie's guitar and this and that. And, no, dude, you don't have to do any of that. It's all right here, laid out straight up in front of you. Now, he also goes through and he compares, his tens to the set of 13s. And this is this is the thing here that I want to tell you about Stevie's strings and his setup. I've played this 13 setup. I've played these 11s. I played straight 11s. I played 12s, straight 12s with no thing. I played 10s, regular 10s. I played 10s with heavy bottoms. I played 9s. I played 9s with a heavier bottom gauge string. I've played 8s. I've never played 7s. Billy Gibbons plays 7s. I've never played 7s. So I played from 9 up to 13 on my guitars over the years to try them out. And, I found out 5, 10 years ago, 5, 8 years ago, that Jimi Hendrix did not use a normal set of 10s. I always thought Jimmy used a set of 10s. And I was reading somewhere where Roger Mayer, the guy who made the Octavia and helped Jimmy with his sound, was obsessed with the vibration of the string over the magnet of the pickup and getting the sound into the guitar to get into his effects. And he came up with this set of strings for Jimmy. This is Kurt Mangan strings. I'm not sponsored by Kurt. Okay. But this is the only place I could find these strings. So I did buy some of these, and they're really great strings. This is the set Jimmy used. 10, 13, 15, 26, 32, 38. This is the set Jimmy used. Jimi Hendrix used this set. Right? Now, if you compare that to Stevie's, right? His are 11, 15, 19, 28, 38, 58. I mean, so Stevie's A string was Jimmy's low E. That's a big difference. That's just not like, two little bit. That's a lot, man. But let me ask you a question. When have you ever heard anybody on a guitar forum, on an interview, talking about Jimi Hendrix? When have you ever heard them say, well, Jimmy had kind of a thin sound? Jimmy's sound was, he was a good guitar player, but his sound was a little on the thin side. Never heard it. And not only that, but I have listened to, like thousands of hours of Jimi Hendrix, and I never thought to myself, you know what? That sounds kind of thin. Jimmy's sound is huge. Jimi Hendrix's sound is gigantic. Listen to Machine Gun live. I mean, when he hits that low E, it is just like, I mean, it is huge. Jimmy's sound was gigantic. And what was he using? 10 through 38. So when I found this out many years ago, I rethought my whole ideas on strings because I had always used thicker strings to get like what I considered a fatter sound. But look at Jimmy. Jimmy's not using that heavy gauge of string. His G string's a 15. And on a normal set of 10s, a G string is a 17. And then he's got a 38 as his low E. And he sounds huge. His sound is gigantic with this set of strings. So I said to myself, man, maybe, maybe I can let up here a little bit. Maybe I don't have to use these gigantic strings, on my guitars to get these real big sounds. And there's a real good video here from Rick Beato where these guys sit around and they compare 11 through 52, 10 through 46, 9 through 42, and 8 through 38. They compare all these sets of strings, and you'd be. I mean, it's a good video to watch if you want to figure out what gauge that you want to have on your guitar is in terms of sound. Number one, I would just consider. I would just say just try them all out. You know, strings aren't that expensive. $5, $6, $8 a set. You know what I'm saying? So if you have to go through six sets of strings at $8 a set, that's only what, $48? Wait, 6 times 8 is 48, $48. So you spent $50 to find out what strings really suit you the best. Even if you spent $100, even if it took you to go through, you know, light top, heavy bottom, light top, top, medium bottom, whatever. Even if it took you $100 to find your strings that you like, it will serve you well for the rest of your life. It will serve you well for a long, long time. Just like once Jimmy came on this set right here, that's part of his sound. You know, just like when Stevie came up with, or when Renee came up with this set, that's part of Stevie's sound. You know, so you want to come up with your sound. You want to have the strings that suit you best. And one of those things is the playability of the string, you know, and I think that's why Billy Gibbons uses sevens. They're real playable, man. They're not a lot of stress on the hand, you know, and he's getting a lot older. And just in general, you may find eights to be real comfortable on your hand, and that says a lot, man. If you can get a really good sound out of eights and it's comfortable on your hand and you enjoy playing with eights, man, go for it. You know, and you might think, hey, look, I can only use 12s because that's the sound I want. So if you're playing 12s and those 12s are comfortable for you and you can get around on them and they sound great, use 12s. But don't use this set because Stevie used it. I mean, you can if you want to, but I'm saying everybody has a different build of his hand, and I have to tell you, Stevie was hammered. Stevie was a self-professed alcoholic. Okay, so when Stevie was using 13s and ripping his hands up, he was wasted, man. And I don't know if you've ever heard the term, I'm feeling no pain when I'm, you know, someone gets drunk and goes, I'm feeling no pain, man. Alcohol really does dull your senses. And not to mention the cocaine and the weed and you know, on top of it. So when Stevie was playing 13s, you know, he wasn't some kid, you know, sitting in his little home studio. You know, he was waking up drinking a fifth of vodka. You know, there was stories of Stevie snorting, you know, cocaine off the amp. You know what I'm saying? So it's like during, you know, during song breaks, going and snorting a line. You know, there's stories about, you know, putting cocaine in shots and drinking it while he's playing. You know, he has his own stories of waking up and like drinking, you know, half a bottle of vodka just to get normal. So it's not really fair, you know, for you, just a normal person, you know, to just put 13s on your guitar because you want to be like Stevie. You know, find a string gauge that really suits you. And if you want to imitate Stevie, okay, get this set of strings, which, like I said, specifically made for Stevie Ray Vaughan. Okay, go to this video where Renee shows you how to set it up like Stevie, and you will get you'll get real close to to playing a guitar that Stevie Ray Vaughan played. You'll get real close to it, and then I would suggest to go from there and experiment with different gauges of strings until you find the one that suits you and your sound. And like I said, it'll serve you for a long, long time.